Hello and welcome to today's session. I hope you're all doing amazingly well from whichever part of the world you are watching. I continue to take you on my journey to writing my second book. And today's subject is about the gap between vision and capacity. So you have this strong wellness vision, and there is a gap between that vision and your current capacity. So today, those of you who find this most useful are those hoteliers who are already doing wellness and you want to take it up several notches. Or you have this huge vision of what wellness looks like in your hotel and you're going all in for it. So your problem is not you're not wanting to run the miles. You're definitely 100% all in running the miles, and you'll do what it takes to get to your vision. So the problem is the gap between that vision you have and your current capacity, and what that gap presents to you, what opportunity that presents to you. So I continue to be messy in getting my thinking ducks in a row. So these podcast episodes, while I am preparing and writing my book, are messy. It feels very comfortable because I do like having my thinking ducks in a row before sharing my insights. But I promised that I'd be taking you on this journey with me. So here we go. The gap between the vision and your current capacity. And today's subject has come through a situation I'm living on a personal level. So I'm training for this year's Madrid Marathon. It's a marathon I run every year. And last year I got timed out. Now you'd think, how would I get timed out? But I did get timed out. I miscalculated certain things. I still completed the marathon. I just get that on the record. I definitely completed it, but I was timed out. So I decided in August that this is not happening to me again. I'm going to hire a trainer, and also a trainer who aligns with my way of training. And I found this amazing, truly ninja coach. She has run 153 100-mile races and 4 200-mile races. So she's a ninja, and she just turned 63 years old. So I assure you, since I've started working with her end of August last year until today, I have been stretched beyond belief, not only physically in terms of what I'm capable of doing and how I'm training, but also mentally. It has completely rewired and changed the furniture layout in my brain when it comes to running. I've always had one thing very clear. I'm running a marathon every year until the final. And if I can upgrade that to an ultra marathon at one point, I'd be even happier. And what I changed this year is that I want to run it strong. I don't want to just suffer gratuitously while I'm running, because in marathons are hard, for me at least. And I was like, no, I'm going to finish them strong instead of each year they're getting progressively worse. I want them to get better. And what was clear was that I couldn't continue training the way I was training for my previous marathons if I wanted a different result this year. So it has meant completely changed my mindset when it comes to training, completely changed my drills when it comes to training. I've added more interval training, more hills, more speed training, mobility training, strength training on top of my long runs. And clearly, when you push your body to certain limits, it will get upset. And clearly my body has got upset and it has translated in a flare, the right hip flare. And it started flaring in November last year. And I was like, I'm going to still continue running. This hip is not stopping me. I continued brute force running. And technically speaking, I can continue to run. And I know I will run the Madrid Marathon even with the flare and complete it in my time. That much I also know. However, I'm also deeply aware that that does not serve my ultimate long game. If I'm flaring my hip out right in the first marathon that I'm trying to do well, or in this new way, my subsequent marathons will be far more painful. So I'm not solving the problem. So I decided to go to my osteopath and physio, which I normally don't do during my training periods because they always tell you the same thing: stop running or, rest, all the boring stuff that I clearly would not do. But I, on my coach's request, went and tried to get it sorted out. So you can imagine what the physiotherapist and osteopath told me. He said, Sonal, I really need you to not run this weekend. So I went to him on Thursday night, and on Sunday I was going to run the 30 kilometers. And he said, you need to not run that and wait at least 3 days and then just do a 10K trot. And I thought, I don't think you seem to understand. I'm training for the marathon. There is no way I'm not going to do the 30 kilometers. So we were going back and forth. He was like, it's absurd to continue running and flaring your hip. And yes, you can run the marathon with the flared hip, but you're not going to solve anything. And I'm wasting my time if I'm working on you right now for you to go and just undo all the work in a couple of days. And he said, you're not also doing your muscles any favor. And I was telling him, you don't seem to understand this goal of mine this year is very, very important. I cannot not run this 30K this weekend. And then he very patiently, I can imagine, him telling me in Spanish, saying, listen, Sonal, I am not telling you not to train. What I'm offering you is that there is more than one way to train for your marathon, still achieve your goal, other than running your hip to the ground. There is another way. So he suggested a few alternative exercises, and he used the example of footballers, saying how they just don't kill themselves playing every single match during the training days. They do different forms of training. And he gave me a few exercises. So I listened to him, and the flare has gone down. And yesterday I did the 12K, not 10K trot. And my hip is slightly upset. And this is where the idea of the gap between vision and capacity has come. Because I remember sitting down with David saying, like, this training is good. I feel really good. This is, it's completely, rejigged everything in my mind about training. I've completely changed everything. I notice mental and physical fatigue just because I'm pushing myself, to an extreme. And I like that. I do enjoy that. But what I am noticing is that my training plan is increasing at a curve that is far steeper than my actual capacity. So my body is responding at a like the gradient is far lower in terms of strength compared to the vision I have. So there's this huge gap right now, and it's getting bigger and bigger as we get closer to the marathon because I thought I'd be at a different level. And my body isn't. It's just simply not ready there. And this tends to be one of the most dangerous places, the gap between your current capacity and your vision. So today I'm speaking to those hoteliers of you who are crystal clear that wellness is something you want in your hotel and you want a fully integrated wellness experience and you want it done well. And you're prepared to run the miles to make it happen. So you have a very ambitious wellness vision and you know you'll do what it takes to get yourself there. Just like I'm going to do whatever it takes to get me to my marathon running vision. But then at one point, you face a capacity issue where your current capacity is far below your vision. And the reason this happens is because the moment your mind opens and you suddenly see the possibility of what you are capable of creating, that vision, suddenly your vision expands. Your vision reaches what you think you can achieve. But your capacity does not expand at that same level. Your capacity is still your current capacity, whereas your vision has suddenly expanded. And the gap is where the tension exists. And this is where things can go dangerously, like downhill. We either get very reactive, we start acting in a way that's not rational. When it comes to our concept, we'll start copying what other people are doing. We're trying to find short fixes. We're trying to see how can we get to our vision as quick as possible. Or more dangerously, what we do is we shrink our vision. We think, that was a good idea, but it seems way out there. We probably have to get more realistic about our expectations to get there. Now, this gap is where I'd say stewardship, true leadership sits. When you're just managing this gap, you become reactive. You either shrink your vision or you think the response is to work harder. And you break yourself in the process of working harder and you never get to your vision. The other option is to know that here's the vision, come what may. And this is where we are right now in terms of a capacity. And my job is to ensure that I increase my capability so that it can perform to the level of the vision I want. Not today, not tomorrow, but eventually. Because what matters is achieving your vision, getting to your goal, instead of just getting yourself out there, reacting, and trying to get there as quick as possible without ever reaching there. And while I was running during my trot that I was doing, I was listening to the book The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek, and he talks about the difference between finite thinking and infinite thinking, and how when you're in it for a finite reason or finite goal, it's I want to achieve X revenue, X GOP, sell this number of treatments. It's a finite goal. You're going to get to that goal no matter what. You don't care how you get there. Your ambition is to get that finite goal. And once it's done, it's done. When you're playing the infinite game, getting to the destination is not that important as the process to get there. So you care about how you get there. And for me, when I'm training my marathons, I'm doing this for longevity. I'm going to be running a marathon every single year for the next 30, 40, 50 years, maybe even a few ultra marathons along the way. I'm doing that. And I'm also going to make sure that I'm going to do that having a strong body and injury free. So I will be listening to my physio and my osteopath a bit more often. Because just doing a marathon or two at any old cost is not why I'm in it. And that's the same reason you got into wellness, even hospitality. The end game is not to make a certain amount of revenue, have a few awards. That's not why you're doing what you're doing. You want to create that asset, that wellness offering that attracts proud people, people who want to work with you, people who want to do wellness the way you do wellness, people whose values align with yours. You also want to deliver your guests transformative experiences. You want them to come to your hotel. You want them to be transformed. You want them to see what it is like living in your culture, in your community. You're opening them the doors to your home, essentially. You want them to have that special experience. And you also want a business that is commercially sustainable, not only today, but long into the future. That is that wellness asset. And that wellness asset is not a destination you get to. It's something you aspire, and you are always in the game of getting there. That's what you're constantly trying to achieve. It's not an end destination in of itself. And you are constantly working and improving on what you already have. It's not about being better than someone else, or it's not about getting a better accolade. It's about doing the work you do to that level you hold yourself accountable to. So there will always exist that gap, that tension between your current capacity and your vision. And that gap is not a problem. The problem is how you manage that gap. You either react and try to work harder and grind harder and make your teams work harder, or you shrink your vision. Neither serves. Or you can build systems in order to increase your capability so that it eventually aligns with your vision. You're getting closer and closer to it. So that is all about what stewarding wellness is about. You have that wellness vision and you have a current capacity, and there will always be a gap. How you manage that gap actually boils down to the stewardship of it, how you're stewarding and treating wellness and your teams and your communities and your guests. And that is our work, because wellness succeeds and fails at the level it is designed. But if it's designed well, it only endures if it's stewarded properly. And that's just that constant tightrope between your vision and your current capacity, and what systems you're building to build your capability to make that gap smaller and smaller. So, my honestly, dear friends, I thought I would share the huge messiness in my mind as I am writing my book. Wishing you all a wonderful day ahead. Take care now.